Okay, let's talk about pasta. Chances are when you cook it, you do it the same way you've always done it, right? The same way your parents did it. But what if I told you that science and a pretty wild online experiment have shown us a completely different and frankly, a much better way to do it? Let's dive in.
So I know this sounds a little dramatic, but seriously, have you been cooking pasta wrong this whole time? It's a pretty bold question, I know, but we're about to challenge some of the most basic kitchen wisdom out there. And hey, you might just save some energy and time while you're at it.
I mean, you know the drill. We've all seen it on the back of the box. You get a huge pot, fill it with water, bring it to a roaring boil, salt it like the ocean, then dump in the pasta and let it cook. It's simple, it's reliable, but is it actually the most efficient way?
So here's where things get really interesting. This whole new idea didn't come from some Michelin star chef or a fancy culinary institute. Nope, it came from a Reddit forum for preppers. You know, people who focus on being prepared for emergencies, where every single drop of cooking fuel is precious. This right here, this is the quote that started the whole thing. The user's goal wasn't about making five-star pasta. It was about pure survival, saving every last drop of fuel. And yet, the results was supposedly perfect pasta. So how on earth is that possible? And the method itself sounds almost too simple. Just let the pasta soak in cold water till it gets soft and pliable, then give it a super quick 1-minute boil. It's a complete 180 from what we're used to. To understand why this isn't some crazy internet myth, we have to look at the science. All right, let's peel back the curtain and look at the science. Because what we call cooking pasta, well, it's really two different things happening at once inside every single noodle. Okay, the big scientific term we need to know is starch gelatinization. Sounds complicated, but it's not. Basically, that's the magic trick. It's when the starch inside the pasta soaks up hot water, swells up, and kind of pops. That's what turns it from a hard, floury stick into delicious, edible pasta. It gets rid of that raw taste. So think of it like this. Cooking pasta has two main jobs. The first is hydration, just getting water into the pasta to make it soft. The second is the actual cooking part, using heat for that starch gelatinization we just talked about. The way we've always done it just smashes both of those jobs together at the same time in a pot of boiling water. And that is the big aha moment. It's the whole secret to the prepper's method. All they did was pull those two steps apart. They let the hydration happen first, nice and slow in cold water, and then, once the pasta was soft, they just needed a quick blast of heat to do the final cooking part. It's so simple, it's genius. Okay, so now that we're all pasta scientists, let's get practical. Because actual physicists have looked at this, and they've come up with two super energy-efficient ways to cook pasta that you can try, like, tonight. And don't just take my word for it, look at the data. The traditional method, the one we all use, it's a total energy hog. And you want to know why? About 60% of the energy you use is just to keep that water boiling away. It's just wasted heat. The other two methods, they basically eliminate that waste. All right, method number one. I gotta say, this one is probably my favorite just because it's so easy. You boil your water, you drop in the pasta, give it a stir for maybe a minute so it doesn't stick, and then you kill the heat. That's it. Turn off the stove, pop a lid on the pot, and just let it sit for the time on the box. The heat that's already in the water does all the cooking for you. How cool is that? Method number two is basically a leveled up version of that original Reddit experiment. You just soak the pasta in plain old cold water for a few hours. Then, when you're ready to eat, you drop that soft pasta into boiling water for just 3 minutes. Seriously, 3 minutes. This is a game changer for getting dinner on the table fast. Okay, but wait, there's more. Since we're on a roll with applying science to our food, let's tackle another classic kitchen nightmare, the perfect sauce. We're talking about the famous and famously difficult Cacio e Pepe. Oh man, if you've ever tried to make Cacio e Pepe, you know the struggle is real. One second it looks like it's coming together, the next you've either got a gloppy, stringy mess of cheese or a watery puddle that just won't stick to the pasta. It's a classic problem that, of course, physicists just had to solve. And the secret they found is beautifully simple. It all comes down to one little ingredient, cornstarch. Specifically, a 2 to 3% cornstarch solution. That is the magic bullet for a perfect, glossy sauce every single time. So you can see here it's a total Goldilocks situation. If you use too little cornstarch, like less than 1%, you get what they call the mozzarella phase. Yep, that stringy mess. If you use too much, more than 4%, you end up with a stiff, kind of gross gel. But right in that sweet spot, 2 to 3%, perfect, stable, beautiful sauce.
So, what does this mean for you in your kitchen? Well, first, stop relying on the random starchiness of your pasta water. It's too unpredictable. Instead, make a simple cornstarch solution. Second, your sauce will be incredibly stable. But here's the best part. You can even reheat it. You can warm it up to 80, even 90 degrees Celsius, and it won't break. That's practically a superpower for a cheese sauce. And I love this quote from one of the physicists, David Fairhurst. He says it's everyday science you can do in the kitchen. You can't do that with particle physics problems. And that's exactly it, right? This isn't some far-off concept. This is science you can touch and taste and use to make your life a little better. So it really makes you think, doesn't it? We've just used physics to perfect pasta and sauce. What other everyday science is hiding in plain sight in our homes? What other kitchen rules are just waiting to be broken with a little bit of curiosity? The kitchen is a laboratory, so go experiment.